WPSC, Wayne, New Jersey. On the radio, 88.7 FM. Online, GoBrave.org. A tune-in radio station. Part of the William Patterson Broadcast Network.
Broadcasting live from Hobart Hall in Wayne, New Jersey.
This is
The Innovative.
I think they're really unique.
The Fearless.
They have awesome variety.
The Kick-Ass.
I love Brave New Radio.
The Sensational.
I've never heard anything like it.
This is the one and only Brave New Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the host and guest and are not necessarily supported by WPSC 88.7 FM, station management, or the station owner, William Patterson University. Anyone wanting to offer differing opinions may do so by calling the show at 973-720-2738. Abusive callers will be rejected. Now here's your program on WP 88.7 FM, Brave New Radio.
Here's your North Jersey weather report.
All right, we are in the 7 o'clock a.m. hour. We have moved up, because I think whenever I gave you the 6 o'clock weather, it was around 50 degrees. We're at 51.7 degrees, working our way up to a high of 74, low of 52. Rain early, decreasing clouds with mostly sunny skies by afternoon. Again, high of 74, low of 52. Tomorrow, Sunday, again, high of 74, low of 60. Expected to be partly cloudy skies during the morning hours. Will give way to occasional showers in the afternoon. Sunday night, showers early, then scattered thunderstorms developing late. Monday, thunderstorms likely in the morning, then the chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Potential for severe thunderstorms, high around 75, low of 56. Monday night becoming partly cloudy after some evening light rain. Then on Tuesday, partly cloudy in the morning, increasing clouds with periods of showers later in the day. Thunder possible, high of 64, low of 52. And then rounding out the forecast on Wednesday, cloudy. Slight chance of a rain shower, high of 69, low of 52. Mostly clear skies on Wednesday night.
88.7 FM.
Brave New Radio.
Brave New Radio.
Yes, the weather was brought to you by the WP 88.7 FM Weather Center. Well, as promised, my guest is here. She is live with me in the studio. Every now and again, I get a guest live in the studio. Most, as you know, the bulk, probably 95 to 98% of the interviews are conducted on the telephone. And those are fine. Those are fun. But there is a different energy and a different experience when you have the guest live in the studio. And so whenever I got in contact with my guest, and she lives right over there in New York, originally she was actually going to be in New Jersey today for a book signing in the neighboring community of Montclair. But some plans changed, and she still decided to come over early to do the interview with me. And I'm glad of that because, as a matter of fact, not only did she come over early to do the interview, but she's been traveling. She just got back last night, and she was in Miami, Cuba, and the Bahamas. So she was on a cruise, just got back in last night, and up early and over here in New Jersey early this morning on the Reading Circle. And that is none other than Mandi Rain. And I'm going to read a tiny bit about Mandi, but since she's here in the studio and she can tell us about herself, I'm going to let her do that. But I'm looking on Goodreads, and she says, I have been writing books since I was 12 years old. I finally decided to share my passion with the world officially last year, and I am happy I made that decision. My older books focused on teen life relationships, but as I matured, my content has matured as well. Erotic fiction is my main genre, but I do write regular fiction as well. So welcome to the Reading Circle microphones, Mandi Rain. Mandi, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much again for rising early and coming to join us, especially given the fact that you've been out of the country for the last few days.
Yes, I have. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm here.
I was following Mandi all week on social media. And I was seeing her pictures on Instagram and everywhere. I was like, wow, I said, is she going to do this interview Saturday? Is she going to be back? So,
yes.
And so she is here, and it looked like you had a good time.
Yes, I had a ball. It was for my sister's 30th birthday, so she just wanted to go all over the place. So
I don't blame her. I know that's right. Life is short and going by quickly.
Yes.
So I do not blame her at all. So you had a cruise?
Yes, we stayed in Miami for 3 days for Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
And then we got on the cruise on Monday, and we went to Cuba for 2 days and Bahamas for 1 day, and then we came back.
How was Cuba? Because I know we just started traveling back there.
It is hot, but it's beautiful. We had a really good time. Everybody was very friendly, extremely friendly. We had lunch at our little restaurant. They said that President Obama ate there.
Okay.
And it was like a house. So everybody was there, the family and mom, everybody was there, and it was really nice. They played music out there, they sang, and then we got invited to another area where we went to a house and met another family there. So everybody, of course, trying to sell you Cubans and things like that, but we had a good time. On the next day, we went to the beach, and it was nice. The water was nice and clean and clear, and had a good tour guide with us. And he asked me, could I bring him home? I said, no, you can't fit in my bag.
Yeah, they want to come to America.
Yes,
that's right.
yes. But they were all very friendly. They were all happy that we were there, of course.
Oh, yeah. Like tourism, for
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. Now that President Obama allowed us to get back in there, I'm sure they're like, yes, they can bring some money over.
And it's really weird because when my sister said she wanted to go to Cuba, I said, okay, we'll go to Cuba. I knew a few people who's been before. And then it's like, right before we went, I had like 5 people on my Facebook feed who went. I was like, everybody's going to Cuba this month. It was really weird. So I was like, okay, we're all trying to get in there all at one time.
Oh, yeah. So that's good. But yeah, I've been on a mini cruise. I went on a cruise a few years ago. We sailed out of Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas. It was like an overnight.
Okay.
And that was okay. In comparison to the huge cruise ships, that probably would be considered a smaller cruise ship, but in my eyes, it was still big because I thought it was going to be like a little ferry.
Yeah.
And I get down there, and that thing is like multiple floors. And so now I know on the cruise ship you ate a lot because food is like everything is like you just eat when you want to eat.
And then they cut off breakfast They cut it off like around 10. So sometimes we slept and think, oh man, we missed breakfast. So we stayed around, waited around for 11 o'clock, and then we go, okay, we can eat. But then this cruise, it was unlimited.
Unlimited, right.
Food and unlimited alcohol. And so, yeah, I saw a lot of interesting things.
I am sure. How was the water? Was it calm?
It was calm the first 2 nights. I didn't feel a thing. But the third night, it was really rocky because I think the weather was turning bad because when we got to the Bahamas, it started raining.
Okay.
So, and it rained all the way until we got back to Miami. So it was really choppy. It was like my sister was like, whoa, I need to go lay down. This is not good. So
were people getting seasick?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. You did? Because we went out looking, my wife, oh my God, I didn't even feel it. I didn't feel no rough waters, but my wife did. And she had gotten badly seasick for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we were at breakfast that next day, and there was this other lady we were sitting next to said the same. She said, oh my God, I felt those waves. I was like, what waves? I didn't feel a thing.
Oh, it's
and,
like, yeah, you can feel it.
And so, she said she had, so yeah, that's the only thing you just kind of wonder, okay, is the sea's going to stay, like I said, for me, and I'll share the story because a long time ago, my mother had gotten on a boat and she'd gotten really seasick badly, and I laughed at her. And I was like, Mom, come on. This is cool. What do you mean you got seasick? So now, at the job I was on, we went out on this yacht. Mm-hmm. It was like a little bit bigger than a normal yacht. And we're out there, and I'm sitting on the back of it, and I'm reading a book. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was coming out of both ends. Out of nowhere. I mean, literally, I'm sitting there reading, and and then I thought, oh my God, this is my punishment for laughing at my mother.
You got a double time.
This is my punishment for laughing at my mother because. And then when I got on the cruise that we did a couple of years ago, it wasn't phased at all. Yeah. I mean, it didn't. So that's why I know that was God's way of punishing me for laughing at my mother.
Watch yourself.
But my mother declares, she said, she promised God that if she got back on shore, she'd never get on a ship again. So she said, I'm not going on no cruises.
If I had it bad like that, I probably would say the same thing. I would. When I was younger, my mother took us on cruises. I don't remember it because I was younger, but we went on another cruise with 2 of my girlfriends for my friend's birthday. We went to Asia.
Okay.
And
we went now.
So we left out of Singapore, and I don't like to fly. That's
Okay.
my thing. And I was like 18 hours. That's a long time. So we had a 9-hour layover in Dubai.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, we could break it up a little bit. Maybe I won't feel so bad flying all the way out there. And then we got to Singapore. That cruise was beautiful.
Okay.
I felt nothing. I didn't have any rough seas. My other friend, she had her patch, but she was getting sick. So, but we had a great time. That was wonderful. We went to Thailand and Vietnam.
Well, good for you. I'm heading over to China in July.
Okay.
Right in the July 4th weekend, I'm
Okay.
heading over to China. I'll be there for a few days. And so it sounds like you've traveled. You're a traveler. All right now. Now, that leads us into the interview about the book.
Yes.
So your travels, has that, because my standard first question is kind of like, okay, when did the writing begin? Because I see right here in your bio, you say, I've been writing books since I was 12 years old. You don't look too much older than that now.
Thank you.
You'll take it. I understand.
I take it.
But you don't look too much older than 12 now. So you've been writing not too long.
If you think so.
And so, but the fact you've traveled. So my question is going to be, has your travels influenced some of your imagination? Because I know it's even in the book as I'm reading it, just Curacao, and now I'm seeing Las Vegas and so forth and so on. Talk to me a little about, when did this whole, talk to me about 12 years old when you started writing.
12 years old, I was, I moved to North Carolina briefly with my mom. She relocated. So it was nothing to do. And
I know North Carolina, you're right.
It's nothing to do.
My mother's from there. You're absolutely right. My mother's from Wilmington, and when we used to go down there is nothing to do. You're right.
Yeah, my mother moved to Bladenboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
So I love reading. I read. Even right now, I'm reading books, and I say just because I write, I love all authors. I reach out to some, they reach back out to me, But that's when I started writing, because I was bored, and I always kept a diary, and then my diary just turned into stories, and then it just went on to there. So then I stopped when I came back to New York. I didn't write as often as I did when I was down there, because then I had things to do. And then sometimes life gets in the way. Then, I was in school, had kids and work and all other stuff. So when I started writing again, it came about because my friend, Olivia Lynn, we was on the phone, and she asked me, I had asked her a question, and she was like, I don't know. Write it down, try to figure it out, And it was a sexual experience. I was just asking, how would you think about if you had like a threesome? How do you think a threesome would go? She said, I don't know. It just depends on what kind of threesome it is. I was like, I don't know. So I started writing. I was at work. I started writing it. And then next thing you know, I sent it to her. She's like, okay, elaborate. Go on with this. So then that's how it started from that.
And Olivia's been on the show. As a matter of fact, that's how I found out about Mandi, because I was following Olivia's social media sites, and she had posted when Mandi's book came out. And I said, all right, let me see what this is all about. And matter of fact, I'm reading your books, yours and her book simultaneously.
Okay.
I'm reading both of them. So I'm skipping back and forth between her characters and their romances, and your characters and their romances.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of the character in her book. It's a Spanish guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read it when it first came out. I know Jade.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
so,
Jade. That's
yeah,
right. Jade
I know Jade, yes.
And so I'm trying to think of the guy. It'll come to me. But I'm reading your books simultaneously, and they are fun reads. They really are. And I could see the things happening. That's the thing. As I'm reading, I say, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. So it's interesting that you're saying, okay, you know what? I ran this scenario by her, and she was like, elaborate.
Yeah.
So she's actually now saying, yeah, go ahead. You can do this.
She said, go ahead. Keep it on. Keep on doing it. I like that. That's good. Okay. I'm feeling that. Go ahead.
So you get it down, and now, because I'm looking here again in the bio, you said, when I was younger, I was writing the teen fiction, and now I'm writing, more adult type things. So as you're writing this, what is like going through your mind as you're now putting, because as I said before we got on air, there are a lot of women that act like, they play that, and maybe some of them are sincere, but they play that role as if, oh, no, sex, oh, absolutely not, I don't do that, no, I don't think those kind of thoughts, they what is like going through your mind as you're putting things like that on paper?
I guess I could say it's a blessing that all of my friends and my family, female, we're all sexual beings. So I've never been around females who say like, oh no, I can't see myself. They're like, I maybe try. I'll try anything once. I have a lot of that around me. So that's when I'm writing, sometimes it takes a life of its own. And then when I read back, I'm like, wow.
No, you're absolutely, and this conversation I have with most, if not all of my guests, there are times, and because the music you're listening to right now in the background is my original CDs, my original music. And there are times, no matter, and these things, like the last one was 2013, the first one was 2011, and I'm still listening to them today saying, wow, that was me playing that. And I know for authors, they go back and read their work and say, I don't even remember writing that. Where did that come? But that's where, for me, God, the Spirit, whatever you want to call it, uses us as the instrument. Where it's not, you get into flow, and you don't even realize I've gotten that down there. And then you go back and reread it and say,
wow.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is where the story's going. Okay, so yeah, I'll turn on my music and I'll sit there. My kids coming out, like, I'm writing, I'm working right now. So they know when I have the music on loud, mommy's busy right now.
So with character development, do your characters, like I know there's Terrence, there's Wesley, and the young lady is Danielle.
Yes.
So, all right, do they live and breathe with you, or do they take on a life of their own, or how is your character development?
I don't even know how Terrence got in there. Terrence wasn't even part of the story. He just happened, like I said, when I was writing, and I said, okay, next thing you know, there goes Terrence. So, yeah, Danielle and Wesley, they live and breathe within me. Danielle more than Wesley, because she's the female, of course. So she's the main character. So I'm writing the part 2 to the Mayan Freak, and I'm also writing another book. Now this one is a whole different cast of characters. Okay. So I have they have been with me more so than Danielle and Wesley. Danielle and Wesley is on vacation a little bit right now in my mind. Okay. So in the new book, I have it's a sister, 2 sisters and a best friend, and the 2 sisters run agency and they're entertainment agents. So they are trying to get their younger sister involved in it, and it's erotic still. Oh, I'm sure. So,
and the one thing I didn't tell you all, the title of the book is, and this is where I was kind of going a couple of minutes ago. The title of the book is My Inner Freak. All right. And everybody, I don't care what you say, everybody has an inner freak or an inner something. Now, you may not call it a freak, but you have an inner something. There's a side of you that people don't know. That's my point.
There you go.
There's a dark side of you. There's another side of you. There's that side that we put on in front of the audience. That's why I always love behind the scenes. There's that side of we put on in front of the camera, and then there's that side of us that don't know anybody about it, so don't know they know about. And so her book is titled My Inner Freak. Yes. And I'm glad to hear somebody admit it.
There you go.
That's what I was talking about a couple minutes ago. I mean, you and some men, but most time women, they try to play that role. Yeah. You know, they play that stupid role. Like, come on, women, for the most part, enjoy and love sex just as much as men do. They try to pretend like they don't, but the fact of the matter is they do.
Yes.
If that were the case, the world would not be populated.
Exactly.
All right. So the title of her book is My Inner Freak, and as you read through the story, you begin to see how things are. Now, I haven't gotten to because so far everything that I've read so far has been normal.
Oh, well, that's good.
I'm up to chapter 18, and everything has been kind of normal. So really, I don't know what happens after 18, but up to 18, it's been normal, with the exception of the club they went in which I'm still trying to figure that club out. All right. I haven't. I mean, the good thing is you didn't come out and just say. You kind of hinted. Yeah. You kind of insinuated, but I'm not sure. Okay. So that's why I'm reading. And that's a good thing for an author. You always want to keep your readers guessing. You're always going to that's what makes them read more. Exactly. That's what keeps them reading. Yes. All right. So the club, I kind of got an idea of what kind of club it is, but you don't outright say it.
No, I don't. And the funny, I researched that because I was like, where do I want them to go? So I just, researched some stuff and some, the islands, and I've been to Aruba, but, it's right by Aruba. So I was like, okay. And so I was like, what do you do there? And then that's how I got that idea of the party and all that good
There you go.
stuff.
So we're whetting your appetite for you to get the book. I mean, those of you that try to play the dumb role, but it's My Inner Freak, and I'm on the Kindle copy, but they can get that in paperback or hard copy.
They can get it paperback on BarnesandNoble.com and also on Amazon.
I mean, it's one of those, for me, it doesn't faze me, but I mean, for those of you might want to put it in your brown paper bag and pretend. I don't know, but the story is a good story. It really is. I mean, it's a really good story, and I could see it happening. As I said, as I'm reading through this, matter of fact, what I start doing is and I don't know, you might do this when you're reading the book too. I start putting faces to the characters, and I'm trying to think, is this actor's name, and I can't think of his name, but I know the different movies he's played in, who I have for Wesley. Right. All right, the Wesley character, I already have in my mind. He's very smooth, wavy hair, the mustache, dark mustache. So the Wesley character, got Danielle, I haven't really kind of figured out the female character I want her to look like yet. And Terrence, too. But Wesley, I got down. I know exactly who I'd cast Wesley for.
Oh, gosh.
I just don't know the actor's name, but I know who I'd cast. But as I'm reading, faces come to mind. And I said, I could see that. I mean, and as you take us to the island and everything, because, as you go through the book, Wesley tells Danielle, just pack a bag. I'm not telling you where we're going off. And they get on the plane, and she's still not knowing where they're going until they land. And, and she's, as we go through the book, she's not sure about Wesley. She's not sure if she want to do this or not. Her ex is Terrence. Yeah. So it's a fun read. It really is. So one of the things we talked about, and I'm going to share some information with the listening audience in a couple of minutes. But, and I know we have pen names versus, our real name. You have to say your real name and keep it as a pen name. That's fine, Mandi Rain. But do people who know you wrote the book, and this is what we talked about before we got on the microphone, do they confuse you with your characters?
Of course, they do. I have people who say they will purchase the book, but they're not going to read the book because they're going to see me as the character, and they say, I don't want to see all that, I don't want to know that much about you, and I keep telling them this is not
me.
And I say I have a very active imagination. I use my imagination, so it's not me. Don't picture me, picture someone else. You don't have to picture me.
And see, that's a good thing, because, and one of the things I've loved about doing this show over the years is actually talking with people who still have an imagination. With technology and everything so in our face all the time, a lot of people have lost their imagination. They have none. I mean, if you tell them, even kids, like, make up a story. They have, right. That's exactly what they look to. But now I'll tell you, when they can't make up a story is if they get caught in something, they gotta lie. Then they get quick, they get real quick then.
Real creative.
But it's like, okay, look, kids, look, this is English class or English language arts, whatever we call it now. Just want you to, out of your imagination, come up with a story. Can't do it. Imaginations are very weak now because everything is, you got all the video games, you got everything else. So kids really don't use imagination too much. So I'm always thrilled to talk to people that still use their imagination. And so what you're telling me is, these are imaginary characters. These are imaginary. They may kind of resemble somebody we know, but
exactly,
they're fictional characters.
They're fictional. They experiences that they're going through. I can vouch for myself. I have, me personally.
Right.
I wish I was told to pack a bag and let's go. I've never been told that, so maybe it'll happen one day. I don't know, but as of now, since as many years I've been on this earth, no one has ever
pack a bag.
Let's go and take me to an island. No,
right?
So I have my passport. I'm ready. But these are fictional characters, and I stress that fictional characters.
Absolutely. Well, okay, and we'll talk about this whenever I share this information when we come back.
Okay.
We're actually not going anywhere, and I have to tell you, listening audience, I tell you all the time, we don't go anywhere. But there's some things I have to share with you. But while I'm sharing it, this is what I need you to get on all your social media sites, all of them. And I always list them out. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, you on it. I need you to get on there. Tell somebody to tune in to gobrave.org or either in the northern New Jersey area, WP 88.7 FM. Get on there and let them know that Mandi Rain is on the air with me. We're talking about her book, My Inner Freak. Now, if that don't get your attention, I don't know what does. So let somebody know that she's on the air, and to tune in on gobrave.org. It's a fun interview. I'm going to share some information with you, and then I have a question for her that's related to the question we just had when we come back.
really didn't feel safe anymore at home.
Every year, tens of thousands of youth experience homelessness.
The possibility of sleeping out on a park bench, it's not something that a 15-year-old should have to think about.
1-800-RUNAWAY provides 24-hour access to a nationwide network of housing and support services.
I felt such warmth. I felt comfort. I felt safe.
Call 1-800-RUNAWAY. Go to 1-800-RUNAWAY.org or text 66008. We can end youth homelessness.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At the Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support the Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
You're listening to The Reading Circle with Marc Medley on Brave New Radio.
Yes, indeed. You are listening to The Reading Circle with your host, Marc Medley. We come to you live each Saturday morning. I'm on the air from 6 until 9. We do a combination of things within the formats. I interview authors, as well as after that we put on the good news and song, as well as do commentary. I've added the Eminem Hour was always commentary, but a lot of times I used it for the good news and song. But now, after I kind of switched the formats, the first hour I kind of talk about whatever's going on in current events. Then I interview my guest, and then we have the time, we put on the good news and song. And before you know, 9 o'clock, I'm out, Barry's in. All right. So I'll tell you what, my guest this morning is Mandi Rain. We're talking about her book, My Inner Freak. And right before I shared that information with you, I asked her, did people ever get her confused with the characters? And so my follow-up question to that would be, has anyone ever come up to you and said, was that me you writing about?
Oh, yeah. Or they'll ask, which one am I? Who am I? I'm going to be this one. Is that me? Where did you get that from? I think I resemble her description. And I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you have folks that's kind of like, they kind of vain that way. You were writing about me, weren't you? Mm-hmm. Like, no, it may sound like you, but no, I wasn't really writing about you. It's not about you. It's, you ain't all that. It's like, but no, I've had guests again. Most of my questions come, they're not necessarily the same questions, but I've talked to enough people that I kind of know how people react to authors, and like, okay, that's nice that you think is you, but no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
So when you're now, you said you had active imaginations. When does the thoughts and the ideas come to you? Are you kind of like at work? Are you on your way to work at night?
All day,
anytime something pops in your head.
Yes.
So how do you keep it and don't forget it?
I write notes.
There you go. Okay.
I write notes,
okay.
and I'm like, okay, I remember this. Or I write it down because I do it. I'm weird. You talking about electronics. I write a lot on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
So I have like my Google Drive, and I'll go in there. If something hits me, I say, okay, I'll do that. That's where I'll do most of my writing.
There was the guest I had on last week. He suggested something very similar to that. It was kind of like, as he was, and I forget which technology, it was one of them, but he was saying how he's writing his book is just that. He's talking the book into the to the phone or either the iPad or whatever, and then he'll go back and type because he doesn't want to lose the ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I've heard all kinds, again, ideas come, I keep a pad with me all the time if I'm on the train so as the imagination has kicked in, is it from things that you've seen? Like say, for example, you're on the train or on the bus or on whatever, subway, cruise, whatever.
Yes,
you see something going and say, you know what? That would be great in the storyline.
Yes, exactly. And I've also had suggestions given to me, and I say, okay, how about you use this on your next one? And that might, I say, okay, let me write that down because I can see where I can go with that. So, yeah, I have a couple of little Cliff Notebooky thingies on my own.
So my next one, I'm going to make sure I get that in
there.
Right.
Exactly. So I think, figure out how you can get that in there. I said, okay, I'll figure it out. And then they want credit.
So you made the decision. All right, I've always been writing one way or the other, whether it's a journal, diary, whatever. But now you've made the decision, I want to be published. What was that like for you?
The writing was the easy part. Editing is a beast.
You self-published or you went to publishing house?
I self-published.
Okay.
I said that was the easiest way to go. Like I said, I was talking to Olivia, and she was. I asked her. She told me how she did hers. So I went around and I, looked into different avenues and stuff. A lot of people, they try to give you, they're helping you self-publish, but they're charging you fees.
Right.
So I said, if I can go ahead and do it and get a couple of eyes to read it and tell me if they see anything, they can look over it. Because, you know, even books that are published and bestsellers, you still find mistakes.
Correct.
Because I said, and it's weird now because I probably would have never noticed it before. But when I read it now, I guess because I'm writing and I realize my mistakes and I have to go back, I said, oh, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Even if you self-published or going through a publishing house, you still have some errors in there.
Yeah, again, we were talking about technology.
Yeah.
There was a time back 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago or whatever, the only option you had was to submit your manuscript to the publishing house, and then you sat there and wait.
Yes.
And you get 100 rejection letters, and finally one of the houses will say, hey, we like your work, we want to do this. But then when they do that, they kind of take control of it.
Yes.
Like they'll control your cover. They'll control kind of like some of your wording or your concepts.
Yeah.
They'll control that. So whenever now with technology, we self-publish. Because like I said, even the music now is a self-published CD.
Yeah.
And
you have more control.
You do. You really do.
Yeah.
So, all right. You said, I like the writing, and I'm so glad you said about the editing, because back to the technology piece, if you do self-publish, one of the things when it first came out, because there was a couple of different options you had. You had print on demand. You had, it was another name, I forget what it was called, but people were always kind of leery of it because the work was always filled with so many errors.
Okay.
Over the years, that has gotten a whole lot better. Folks started getting editors, folks started editing better, so forth and so on. So, as you just said, now you got to sit there and reread it for editing.
Yes.
So once you've done that, you've edited, you've got pen to paper, press, what have you, the books come back to you. What was that feeling like for you when you open the box and you now see the cover with your name on it by Mandi Rain?
I said, I feel like I'm giving birth.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. That's exactly what it's like.
I was so excited. I was so happy. Oh, I nearly cried.
Now, is it available in stores as well?
If you go to Barnes and Nobles,
I know
sure.
they'll order it. I mean,
they'll
ordering
order it. But I had some that was available. They sold out. Because I'm originally from New York. I live in Texas right now.
Okay.
So I had them like at some bookstores down there, and they sold out of them.
So, okay, where I'm going with the question is when you walked up in the bookstore and saw your book on the shelf. That's exactly right.
It's like all my babies graduating.
That's exactly right. I tell my mother all the time, it's like a lot of times I will walk in a Walmart or a bookstore and I'll come up on books of people I've interviewed here.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm like a kid. I know that person. Right. That's exactly right. I met that person. I know that.
Yes.
They've been on my show. I've talked to them. Because I was talking to a lady the other day. She could not believe I talked to Omar Tyree.
Omar Tyree is a very nice person.
He is.
He has given me so much feedback. And he's a very, Eric Jerome Dickey's also a nice person.
Well, Eric, if you know him, I've been trying to get him on the show for a little while now. And for some reason, we always disconnect. Now, Omar's been on the show 3 times.
Okay. But yes, Omar is very personable.
Right.
Very personable.
I mean, Omar is funny because he's so raw. He just got that voice and the way he comes across, his approach, he's just raw. But he is very personal. Yes. He's been on the show. Now, Eric Jerome, we've tweeted back and forth. We've just never been able to connect. So if you know him, just tell him, you know what, I know a guy is looking to get you on his radio show. But you're absolutely right. And you said it earlier about reaching out to authors. The beautiful thing of social media is it has put us in touch with folks that, again, 30 years ago would not have looked twice.
Exactly.
If you send them a regular old snail mail, they probably wouldn't even have opened it. But now, for the last 4 or 5 years, I guess, just about all of my guests have come through social media. The same way I reached out to you is the same way I've reached out to everybody else. It's kind of like, hey, I have a talk radio show. Would you like to be on it?
Yes, and I was like, what? Oh my gosh. I said, this has to be a joke. I read that. I read that several times. Like, no.
But that's the way like I said, that's the way I reach out to Omar. You know what, Mr. Tyree he graciously. I've had Kimberly Lawson Roby. I've had Judge Hatchett.
Oh wow, Hatchett. My mother loves her.
Yeah, she was on. She did the show a couple years ago. I've had Nikki Giovanni. There's been some. I've had no name and big name. I've had low profile and no profile. I've had high profile. It's local and international. That's been the beauty of it. And I've met some wonderful people. I really have. And to hear them talk about their work, and for me, because reading is one of my passions. to sit next to the author or talk to the author for me is like a thrill. Like, wow, this is the person that wrote this. This is the person that put this down. So now you've gotten to the point, you've got pen to paper, you've got it together, you've got the book in your hand. Now comes the other part, the part that you're kind of doing right now, the promotion part. Because, I mean, I get mixed reviews. Some people say, I love being the talent, I hate the business side. Some say, I like both. Some say, and it's rare, I actually like the business side better than I do the talent side. Like, oh, that doesn't make sense to me. But
I enjoy the writing. Promoting is a beast also.
Yeah, it is.
When you said, do you want to come? I said, I'll come up. It's all a part of promotion because you never know when I'm going to have to get up early in the morning
You're
to go and do
right.
something. So that right there. And I'm always, it's like I'm always on the go. I'm always promoting. Even if I'm going, like tonight, my sister's having something at her house. She's like, "Oh, we're going to sell some books tonight." I said, "Oh, okay."
No, yeah, I'm right. Do you keep like a box in your trunk?
I had and I sold out.
No, that's a good thing. That's what's supposed to happen.
So now my sister has a whole bunch at her house because it was supposed to be for the book fair. So now she's like, "Oh no, we're going to sell some books tonight." I said, "Okay."
That's what's supposed to happen. I always tell the story about Michael Baisden.
Oh yes.
Mike, right.
I remember his story.
He was, matter of fact, the publishing house wouldn't take his work.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, forget you, I'll do it myself. Then when he started selling out his trunk and they kept going like that, then the publishing house reached out to him and he was like, no, forget you. You didn't want me whenever I wasn't selling, so now I'm doing all right on my own. I mean, but that's exactly what keep a box in your trunk. I'm an author, this, so forth and so on. So that's the business side. But it's at the same time, it's a part of you. I tell authors all the time, the one thing about being an author is you're leaving a legacy. Because 50, 60 years from now, a copy of that book is still going to be somewhere.
I like that.
It's good. It really is. I mean, people don't, but I mean, go to like either one of those garage sales or either one of the library or the bookstore be doing like either a free book giveaway or discount book. Those are books that's been around for like 40, 50, 60 years. And they're still, and somebody might read it and they might have stuff up in the attic. And one day they're cleaning the attic out and your book pops up.
Yeah,
and you might be dead and gone, and that book is still there, Mandi Rain. I mean, it's like you have. So when you're an author and you have your work published like that, you actually have the opportunity to leave a legacy that the average person doesn't have to leave, because your name is going to be Mandi Rain is going to be around for as long as those books are around, and they get passed around. People mean, the Kindle doesn't allow you to do that too much, but the soft cover or the hardcover.
They can pass them.
Girl, read this book. And the next one, yo, man, you got to read this.
And then they read the first one. And I want to read the second one.
And that's the next thing, because you want to get the series going. At least your name out there. It's like, oh, I read her first one. I definitely got to read her next one.
Yes, because I get a lot of people when is the second one coming out? I need the second one. I need to know what's going to happen. My friends are on me hard. And then I met somebody in the Bahamas who read my book.
See,
and she was on a cruise with us, and she said, the prologue. See, a lot of people have a problem when they read the prologue because there's a little graphic somewhat, and they, they're in the freak is hidden. So like when I read that, I was like, okay, so I'm not sure which way the book is going. But then she said, then I got through it. And I said, oh, it's a story.
Yes.
She read it in the day, and she's an older woman. She's like in her early 50s.
Okay.
And she said, I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh,
she said, I'm ready for the second one.
See. I tell you, they play that dumb role. There is I taught language arts, and I don't dress like this every week when I come. I'm dressed like this because I have to go to a parent of the year breakfast when I leave here, because I'm the principal of a school. Okay. That's what I do on my day job when I'm not doing this.
Gotcha.
So there's a story when I was teaching language arts. You probably heard it's called The Scarlet Letter.
Yes, I read that book.
It's right. It's an old classic.
Yes.
It is one of the old classics. But kids in the beginning, it was a hard read because I taught 8th grade, and it was kind of hard to get through the verbiage in the first chapter or so. But once they figured out that was a baby mama drama,
they had to translate it so they could understand.
Exactly. They couldn't put it like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa.
Oh, I like this.
That's exactly what's when they started figuring out the pastor and this one and her and him and this a baby mama drama. I said, you're right.
Oh, why you didn't tell us that from the beginning?
That's right. Listening audience, you know, normally whenever I have a guest on the telephone, I do not take calls. But since Mandi is here live in the studio, if you have a question for her, you want to talk to her, the number is 973-720-2738. We'll get you on the air. You can ask Mandi any questions you like after listening to us. Hope you've been tuned in since she joined us. But again, if you want to talk to Mandi, feel free to give us a call and ask her any question you like. 973-720-2738. Matter of fact, I'm looking here on the Goodreads site, and I see one of the questions they ask you is, how do you deal with writer's block? Do you get writer's block?
I get it, but it's more like like I said, I'm writing 2 books. One book will take a break, and the other one will come to the forefront. Right. So if I have writer's block, I just take a break. and it'll come back to me. It doesn't last too long.
One of the things, when Omar was on here, I had asked him, where your ideas come from. He said, I watch a lot of TV, I watch a lot of movies. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I now start getting ideas in my own head about different scenarios. And is that kind of like, what is it for you that's like, how are you going to come up with this scene? Where do these scenes come from?
I watch a lot of TV, but it's SVU and Law and Order. But I don't write things like that. But people watching.
There you go. Observation.
People watching, yes.
Just observing people.
Yes.
Right. Now that makes a lot of sense to me, because I tell you, I was saying it earlier in the other segment about just getting somewhere and being quiet. Mm-hmm. You would be amazed if you just sit down and watch and how much you learn. Right. How much you watch and listen. During the summertime when I'm off, I sit on my porch a lot, just sit and I listen and watch people as they walk up and down the street. And some of the fun, and again, because I'm in I just moved recently, but the neighborhood I was in was an urban neighborhood, and to sit there and look, yo man, that nigga, you should hear that nigga, you know what that nigga say, man, that nigga, that's all I'd hear coming out. I'd say, who is that nigga?
You want to know who he is?
Yes, exactly. And I wrote a blog, but I want to know who it is. Who is that? Quote unquote, THAT. Yes. Who is that nigga? Yo, man, you should sing that nigga. You should sing that nigga.
And I got you curious.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's always that.
Yes, that one.
So, but when you listen and watch people, it is really kind of comical to see people as they're coming through with their conversations and what this, and just to watch folks interact. And because again, working in a school with kids, I look all the time and get like, how did you get there? How did you come? The mantra is you can't make this stuff up.
No,
you can't make it up. You just sit there and watch like you did. And she, why were you two fighting? Because she showed me a handshake and she told me not to show the other little girl because if I showed her, she wouldn't like me. And wait, you guys were actually fighting over this? Yeah. And that makes sense to you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you do learn. So I can only imagine, if I could see all that with kids, I can only imagine when you start observing adults.
Don't get me started. Where our people watch, because then I'll get in trouble probably. But they're probably not. They're not listening because they're in Texas. But yeah. And then I have my youngest daughter. She is very active in gymnastics and dance. Okay. She competes. And somehow the word got out that I write. Okay. And they was like, I heard, it came out the blue. I was just going in one day for something, and one of the mothers stopped me. She's like, so I heard that you, and used the hand movement to write. And I was like, who told you that? She's like, don't worry about that. But is it true? How come I didn't notice? I said, I don't go around broadcasting it to people that aren't close to me, and if I'm not networking, I'm not going to go around at my daughter's gymnastics or dance. That's not where I said my genre is not that. So she's like, do you know how many books you could have sold if you told us moms this? And then I was like, I had told one parent. She said, it wasn't me. She said, I don't know how they found out. She said, but I didn't tell anybody. She said, but they're all a bunch of freaks anyway. So she said, so you probably could have sold a lot of books if you would have told. I said, but that's not what I'm there for.
But you just confirmed what I said earlier.
Yes.
People try to play their role. And like, see, I'm real. I'm like, look, let's get real here. Stop. I am by no means a prude, and I'm not expecting somebody to be like, you know, like hooker of the month. And I'm not expecting, but I'm not at the same time expecting you to act like you a nun either.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's like, stop. Come on, we don't need the two extremes. It's like, will you just be real? You're a human being.
Yes.
All right. So stop playing this holier than thou. Oh my God, no. Who? You said the word sex. Oh,
I don't do that.
Like no. Cut it out.
Yes.
Cut it out. I mean, that annoys the daylights out of me. It really does. It's like, will you stop? But
and it's always the people you were saying. Okay,
but like you just said, now that woman said, "Oh, you don't know how many." Yeah, we know. We know.
I just chose not to go around broadcasting at my daughter's dance class, but
yeah, and because I have. Oddly enough, like you just said that, because 2 weeks ago, my guest was actually a teacher from my building. Okay. I didn't know she was an author. See? She wrote a poetry book, and it's raw. It's a raw poem, and she's same thing that you just said. I said, I didn't know you were an author, and I was actually doing her observation. We were doing her observation, and we started talking, and she told me about her book. I said, what book? She says, I wrote a book. I said, really? I said, well, I got to have you on the show. So she called in. It was a raw poetry book, and I'm okay with raw. Raw don't faze me. I'm like, I'm fine with it. Come on, you can be on the show. Yeah. And so we had a good time a couple of weeks ago, but she was kind of saying, she's the genre, and I get that. I mean, it's not for everybody. Every genre, like for me, I love autobiography. Like I said, I like behind the scenes. Yeah. Everybody don't like autobiographies. But I kind of read across the board. I kind of like it all. So, So, you started now, like, that's an interesting story. And it was a female, right?
Yes, it was.
See, I told you, try to play that role.
The males like my book, too.
Oh, sure. Oh, I know. I said, I can, without a shadow of a doubt, I know the males going to like it, those that read. I mean, right. Now, I'm not saying against the brothers. No. I know we read. We do. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, for the male population, they'll be fine with it. All right. The female population is the one that'll try to play the role.
Yeah.
I can't believe she.
I don't know about that part. I wouldn't see myself doing it.
Right. And maybe you don't. Hey, I'm fine. Nobody's trying to get you into anything that's not you.
No.
That's not the point. But the point is, it is a genre. It isn't a fictional story.
There you go.
And truth be told, most of fiction right now is more faction. Most of this stuff really does happen one way or the other. We were talking covers earlier. When you chose your cover, kind of like, because you have control over that now, not the publishing house. What did you go there? Like, how did you land on that cover?
Oh, that was a lot of hard work. Trying to come up, what did I want it to look like? I'm trying to, do I want it to be provocative? Do I not want it to be provocative? What is it? I had like several different layouts, several different variations. Did I want to have toys involved? Because, she has toys in the book. Did I want it to be like that? Did I want it to... So when people look at the cover, they can be like, oh, okay. This is what it can be like. They always say, don't judge a book by its cover. So I said, this cover, it'll catch people's attention. I'm like,
and again, as an author, that's exactly what you wanted to do.
Yes.
You wanted to, if nothing else, to get a person to pick it up, start kind of flipping through, read the back.
Exactly. Yes.
Kind of, before they make their purchase decision. All right. That's, as an author, that's exactly what you want to have. You want it to leap out at you. Now, again, I can right off the bat, like I said, for the men, they're going to see that and they're going to like, okay, let me see what this is about. Because it's a young lady's legs in stockings and her undergarment, lingerie or whatever it is. That's what's on the cover. So right off the bat, I know the men are going to like, okay, if nothing else, I got to see what the...
what is this about?
Right. Now, the women may... and again, playing that role. But then you get the mother at the dance studio that says, do you know how many books you could have sold? See, that tells me right off the bat. That confirms for me. See, that inner freak is in there.
Yeah.
If you don't like the word freak, that inner whatever you want to call it.
Inner sexual being.
Yes.
Your inner goddess.
That inner fill in the blank, whatever you want to call it, is there. And for those that try to suppress that, and that's another reason why we get what we get too, because for those that try to play that role and suppressing that, it's coming out other ways. And see, that's what you try to tell people. All right, everything you suppress, everything you hold in, everything you keep, right, it'll come out either in an illness, it'll come out in anger, it'll come out in other ways. Yes. You're trying to suppress all of this. That's why, let it go, hon, let it go.
Don't want to be sexually frustrated, let it out.
Sexually frustrated, any kind of frustrated. That's what I was talking about earlier. Get somewhere and put yourself at peace and be happy. Yes. There is enough, and it's funny you said it earlier about with your signing getting canceled today, where you kept saying, well, you know what, I'll be positive, I'll speak positive. Yes. That's exactly what we have to do. because there are a lot of frustrations and disappointments.
I was disappointed. You know, I had to put a lot into it. I planned it. It's been planning since, a couple of months. Like, almost January, I want to say. It's been planning. I had to come here, do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress it.
Right.
I said, I'm going to still come on out.
Right. And see, and that's exactly kind of like where there was a time years ago when something would go wrong in here, I would be livid. I mean, I would be angry. And over the time, when something go wrong here, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is.
Because at the end of the day, your anger is not going to change.
It's not going to change.
It's still going to be what it is.
That's exactly right. It's not going to change. You know what? It wasn't working, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know? We'll have to reschedule.
There was a reason why. Look, it's going to rain today, so there you go.
Right. Exactly. So, speaking of rain, how did you come up with your pen name?
That was another. A lot of things everything was a process. Having to come up with my name, and my pen name is my first name, similar to Mandi. Rain. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I'm trying to get a pen name. So we was, going back and forth on ideas. And then he said, I like rain. I said, why? He said, rain, wet. He said, your words will make you wet and all that. I said,
Makes
I like
sense.
that. I
There
like
you go.
that. So that's how I came up with Mandi Rain.
Okay. And see, again, for those of in the listening audience, well, if you listen to this show, you know a little bit about books, but you do know every now and again, authors have what they call a pen name. They don't use their real name. They use a pen name. And just as it said, P-E-N, pen name. That's their writer's name. And so this is Mandi's pen name. It's not necessarily her, as the kids call it, government name.
Yeah, that's not a government.
It's not a government.
Yeah.
So it's her pen name, and it's Mandiarain. The name makes a lot of sense. And again, the book is a fun read. Matter of fact, I know I'm not surprised. It would have been interesting, and I don't know if the cruise ship would have allowed you to do it, but a cruise or on the beach or on vacation is a perfect place to read this type of book.
Yes, I actually checked into it when we did the cruise to Asia, but they said that it's a hard way you have to go around because it's
a whole lot of red tape and get this approval and that approval. Yes.
So I didn't even try with this last one. I was like, it is what. But I have my cards. I handed out. And I was handing out in Cuba. And people like, oh, I got Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna look you up. You write? And then when the people asked me, what do you do? I said, well, I write. And they said, what do you write? I said, I write erotic fiction. Really? What's your name?
Eye opens, huh?
Yes, exactly. Oh, and guys, when I tell them that, erotic fiction, really?
Now, again, speaking of that, do guys, once they read your work, do they think now, oh, if she writes like that ought to be an easy target, or I can get with her, or do they automatically make that leap that because you write that hey, I want to get with her?
It's really weird because on my Facebook I have a lot of private messages from guys. Half of them I don't even know what they're saying because they're not speaking English. And then I can tell they're getting frustrated because I don't respond right away because they say hi, I say hello, and then they go back and forth. Can I have it? No, you can't have my number. What do you need to call me for?
And see, I just put on my social media pages in terms of, for me, it's annoying to see these ignorant responses in the comment sections on social media. It's like, if it's a nice looking young lady or whatever, I'll see this, damn! I'll see all this crazy. I'm like, come on. Do you honestly think the person that's flattering them?
Yeah.
Do you honestly? It's kind of like, I'm trying to think of some of the other stupid ones I've seen, but it's just like, brother, I mean, if you're going to say nice or, looks good or something, like, okay, but all this, it's just some of that stuff is like, wow, I know if I was a female, that would turn me off. That would not turn me on. That would turn me off.
The other way.
And because if you're going to give me a comment on my clothing, or that looks nice, or you look good, or your hair, like I think you did something about the natural look or something, it looks good on you, whatever. Like, all right, I can but some of this other stupid stuff to come through, and I just put that on there. Am I the only one who like don't like these ignorant comments in the comment? And so somebody put out, no.
I say,
like,
you're not the only one. They get frustrated with it. So sometimes I delete them. If I don't like it, I delete it.
Deleting all of them. I mean, it's like, seriously.
Yeah, because some of them could be real.
Like, come on, guys. Come on. I mean,
use your imagination, but they don't have one.
I mean, I'll see the GOTDAMN. I mean, just all kinds of stupid stuff. And I did not say GOD. I said GOT.
That's right.
As in Tom. Yes. I'll see the GOTDAMN with the exclamation points. I'll see the
Y in the middle of it.
Yes, I see all kinds of, and I was like, that's ignorant. And brothers, hey, it is what it is. But to me, that's ignorant. I mean, I like your work. I mean, because, and I've said this on the air before, I personally don't get starstruck. I mean, it's like, for me, celebrity is a person just like
exactly.
I am. So I may say, I enjoy your work. I like your work. I appreciate your work. But I'm not running around talking about, oh my God, I'll never wash this hand again.
They kiss my cheek.
Yes, exactly. I'll never wash again. No. It's not. So it's the same thing. Like, if I'm going to comment on somebody in their comment section, it's going to be something. I like your smile. Very nice smile. Looking good. Something respectful.
Yes.
But all this other stuff that I see on there's like, come on.
You could have done better than that.
Yeah, you could have done better. But then for some of them, they really can't.
Yeah.
So, all right, the book is My Inner Freak, and I appreciate it because somebody admits it, for one. Because I'm glad to hear somebody admit it. Because, again, a lot of pretense be going on there. A lot of pretense.
A lot.
But then you had that whole thing. It's almost like they say men want a freak in the bedroom and I forget how they put it.
A lady in the
street.
Right.
A lady in
the streets and a freak in the sheets.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Something along those lines. That's kind of like the desire.
Yeah.
That would be the desired balance. Like, okay, I want you to be ladylike out in front of the camera.
Yes.
But then when we get in the bedroom, I want you to be, okay. So that's kind of like, so at least this is saying it's there. And it's from a female, not a male. Because a man might say, yeah, there's a whole bunch of anal freak in me.
It's not in me, it's out. I have it everywhere.
But really, we're having some fun with it. It is a fun read. Don't get turned off by the title or the cover or whatever. It really is a fun read, and it's life. That's my whole thing with folks. It's like, again, as I said, please get real. Life is life. People are people. The desires are the desires. Now, there's some people that, and my condolences to you, that just don't have those feelings at all. They just don't have them. They're not pretending. They don't have them, and my condolences to you. But for the average person, at some point in their life, now maybe when you get 90, and I'm not even taking away the 90-year-olds, because some of them still got
exactly.
it.
They have more than the younger ones.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So, but for some people, it's truly not there for whatever reason. But for other people, it's there and they try to suppress it or try to pretend. Those are the folks I'm talking to.
Let it out.
You're the folks I'm talking to. Stop. I'm not telling you got to go out there and be buck wild. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you going out there being buck wild. So don't say I heard that a host on the reading circle said I should go ahead and get buck wild. No, I ain't say that. I didn't say you should go ahead and get buck wild.
Just be a little
Just be right.
Just be you.
Just be you and stop trying to pretend, But again, I told you it's a different energy when I have the guests here live in the studio than on the phone.
And that's why I want to come in.
We really have a lot of fun. You're right. And Mandi did say, she said, I'll come in. I was like, really? It's early in the morning. He goes, no, I'll come. Like she said, I have an escort with me. My manager will come. He'll take me. And he's out there early, sitting out in the wings. He's sitting out in the lobby.
Yes, he's my, as I call him, I said, you're my promoter. He loves that stuff, promoting and going out. So yeah, he does.
But see, that's good. So. But see, all right. If you like the talent piece and you have somebody that likes the business piece, that's a good mix.
Yeah.
Because hey, can you go ahead and sell this for me? Can you promote this? Can you? That's a good mix. Because some people try to do it all themselves. So at least you have somebody that's working with you and helping you out.
Yeah, he'll go. They say, yeah, I got 10 books going today. I'm like, oh really? Yeah, where you at? Oh, I went here, I went there. Just said here. You want a book? And so see the regular. You want to buy it? I said, oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, we've come down to about the last bit of the interview. I see it's a genre fiction, romance, ebooks, and the author is Mandi Rain. She's on Twitter. She's on all the social media sites. But at this point, I allow her to. I'm going to quiet down. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to allow her to promote. She can tell you where you can get the book, how you can get it. She could say everything with the exception of a dollar figure.
Okay.
She just can't tell you how much it costs, but anything else, anybody she wants to shout out, she wants to shout Earl out there or anybody else, her kids,
you shouted him out enough. You don't need any more shout outs.
Kids, sister, anybody you want to shout out, I'm going to turn my mic off and it's yours.
Well, I'll shout out my sister because I know she's up listening. She better be. Kylie, you better be listening because you made a point to tell me, where are you going to be? Where can I listen to it? So I'm going to shout out my sister. She's probably texting me now. I can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all at Author Mandi Rain. And I am not on Twitter as frequently as I am. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, but I do get notifications from Twitter every once in a while. And you can buy the book at barnesandnobles.com or amazon.com. Download it, ebooks. I'm working on, because I get a lot of people saying, I don't read books, I listen to them. So I'm working on that. That's the next thing. Yeah, she wants an audiobook. So I said, we want to do it, but we don't listen. We don't read it. We want to listen to it.
If they have the Echo, they can listen. If they download it from Amazon and they have the Echo will read it.
Oh, okay. I'll let them know that, because I know one has the Echo.
Right, the Echo or the the Dot.
Yeah, I know what
they
you're
have
talking
the Dot, and they also have the Tower or the Echo. But if they have the Echo and they have the Amazon account and they've downloaded it through them, it will. Because I was listening to it the other night.
Oh, okay.
So it will work on the Echo.
That, because she's like, I don't like to read. I was like, really? She said, but I'll listen to it. I love listening to it. I like to listen to it. So I was like, okay. And then I had another friend say, you really gonna make me buy this book? I said, and I really don't want to buy it, but she looks through it because she has Amazon Prime, so she can look through it. But she was like, "You gonna make me buy this book so I can actually read the whole thing? When I don't want to read, I want to listen to it."
Well, tell her if she has the Dot or either the Echo.
I'll let her know
that it'll like if she tell it. It's like if she's downloaded it in her iPad or whatever.
Yeah, it's on her Kindle.
Your Wi-Fi and the Echo and the Kindle are connected.
Okay.
And so it knows the books, like my Echo knows the books I have in my Kindle. Okay. So whenever I tell it, Alexa, read My Inner Freak.
Yeah.
And it'll pick up wherever I am. It'll pick up from there. So yeah, it will do it if you have the Amazon account and the Echo.
There you go. Right? Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming out. I mean, it's been a blast. I knew it was going to be so fun. I said, ooh, this is going to be a fun interview. I know. As I'm reading it, that's why I sent you the email saying, the book is very interesting. This is going to be a fun interview. And I have no filter, no holds barred. I haven't cursed. I haven't said anything offline.
No, you haven't.
So, I mean, we haven't said any body parts.
Nope,
we haven't said any slang.
Nope,
we haven't said anything vulgar.
Not at
but the
all.
book is fun. Actually, the book is not vulgar. It's not.
Thank you.
I mean, again, it is what it is. It's life.
There you go.
So you read it, have fun. Like I said, it is a perfect book for if you're on vacation. If you just, like I said, for me, I sit outside on the porch. If you're in the park, and
it gets those juices flowing.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Creative juices, it gets your mind.
That's right.
Going.
That's
Those
right.
juices.
Get your mind out the gutter. That's right. See there, she took you someplace she wasn't even talking about. See, get your mind out the gutter. Creative juices is absolutely right. You may wind up writing the book yourself.
You never know.
You never know. My guest this morning has been Mandi Rain. She is the author of My Inner Freak. It is a romance fiction. It's in the ebook section. You'll have a good time learning about Wesley, Danielle, and Terrence.
Good old Terrence.
Good old Terrence. Terrence is, I'll give you this much. Terrence is the ex. And for some reason, he keeps appearing. Terrence. Matter of fact, they even ask, because I think it's a what is it, a bridal shower or something?
Yeah,
And then the girlfriend's even asking, is Terrence going to be there? Is such and such bringing Terrence with him? And so Terrence keeps reappearing. So if you want to find out what happened with Wesley, Terrence, and Danielle, download the book or get the book, My Inner Freak. The author is Mandi, Mandi, Rain, Rain. And that's it for this edition of the Reading Circle with Marc Medley. Thank you so much.
Thank you.